The stars above Kepri 9 burned softly, their pale light washing over the fertile plains of humanity's youngest colony. It was a peaceful world, quiet, industrious, hopeful. Farmers coaxed green life from alien soil, children laughed under twin moons, and engineers dreamed of expanding the colony's orbital network. It was humanity's smallest outpost, barely 20,000 souls, a whisper in the vast silence of space. To the Varkal Dominion, it was a message. Humanity was spreading again. They saw the colony's small defenses, its open trade beacons, its diplomatic transmissions requesting neutral recognition, and they saw weakness. On the bridge of the Varkal flagship, Gravkor, High Commander Zelthun bared his teeth in laughter. Humans, he spat, still clinging to rocks at the edge of space. They never learn. He gave the order. Orbital bombardment lanced down like the wrath of cruel gods. The skies turned molten. Cities evaporated in flashes of plasma. The oceans boiled away from the heat. Children turned to dust before they could scream. When it was over, there was nothing left but glass, a world scoured to its core. The Varkal ships hovered over the silence, basking in their work. Zelthun recorded a message for broadcast on the galactic net. "Let it be known," he declared, "that the Varkal Dominion tolerates no encroachment. Humanity's seed will not spread. Their kind is small, fragile, insignificant." Then they left, laughing, boasting, drunk on their own cruelty. Mockery. Across the stars, the destruction of Kepri 9 echoed through the galactic network within hours. Holonet channels replayed the footage. Molten continents, burning skies, Varkal banners shining in the aftermath. The Dominion's diplomats called it a necessary cleansing. Their admirals called it a tactical warning. And across the known galaxy, the other species nodded in uneasy silence. The humans, after all, were new, impulsive, too idealistic. They spoke of peace and cooperation, of rebuilding the ruins of old wars. Many had begun to think Earth's people were harmless, a curiosity from a backwater spiral arm. Now, they were simply victims. Again. The Varkal basked in the praise of their allies and the fearful glances of rivals. They toasted to their lesson well taught, their victory over the Terran infection. In their great halls of blackened stone and shimmering banners, laughter echoed through the night. They thought Earth would send words, not ships. They thought humanity would beg for sanctions, for mercy, for peace. They thought wrong. The silence before the storm. When the message reached Earth, the networks went quiet. The chatter of the orbital stations, the markets of Luna, the chatter of ships across Sol space. All of it fell into stillness. Then the broadcast came. A recording from Kepri 9. Fragments recovered by automated probes before the world burned. Images of children running under violet skies. A woman crying for help over a broken comlink. A planetary distress beacon blinking red until it was crushed beneath fire. For 3 minutes, humanity watched. And for the first time in a century, the Terran High Council met behind sealed doors. No press, no leaks, no statements, only silence. The Varkal took that silence for fear. They were wrong again. That silence was the sound of something ancient stirring. The same will that had driven men and women through centuries of fire, across oceans and voids, through despair and extinction. The same instinct that had once whispered, "Never again." In the following weeks, the silence deepened. Human diplomats vanished from the public eye. Fleets disappeared from trade routes. Asteroid shipyards stopped transmitting. The galaxy whispered that humanity was retreating. But in the black between the stars, lights flickered. Blue drives burning like coals in the dark. Warships older than the Dominion itself came alive again. Automated arsenals, thought decommissioned, began forging. Stations that had been research platforms suddenly cut off all access. Something vast was moving. Something quiet. Something angry. The first hint of retribution, 2 months after Kepri 9's death. A Varkal cruiser, Threnok, vanished in the void. No distress call, no debris. Just gone. Then another. Then 3 more. Each from separate patrol sectors. All erased without trace. The Varkal dismissed it at first. Pirates. Engine malfunctions. Accidents. But when a destroyer fleet found one of the wrecks, the Dominion's laughter died. The ship's hull had been sliced open as if by invisible fire. Its reactor had been turned inside out. The crew were gone, not killed, gone. No bodies, no escape pods. Only a single line carved into the command console, scorched in molten alloy. For Kepri 9. The Varkal panicked. Patrols doubled. Convoys armed themselves. But the disappearances continued. Now transports, now shipyards, now entire outposts. Every strike was surgical, silent, unseen, and always those same 3 words. For Kepri 9. The stars begin to tremble at last. The Dominion demanded answers. They summoned their spies, their informants, their analysts. What they found made their blood run cold. From the edges of Sol space to the galactic rim, human fleets were mobilizing. Not 1, not 2, 32 battle groups. Dreadnoughts the size of cities. Carrier lines black as void. Automated gun platforms, ghost ships, orbital armories from centuries past. Earth's silence had been preparation. The Varkal tried diplomacy. Too late. Their envoys approached human space and were met with nothing but static. One transmission did pierce the void. To the Varkal Dominion, from the United Terran Directorate. You took 20,000 lives. You will pay for each one. You believed our small colony beneath your notice. You will learn what it means to draw humanity's gaze. And then, all communication ceased. On the borders of Dominion space, the stars began to move. The day Earth spoke in fire, they came without fanfare. No parades, no warning shots, just light. Hundreds of warp signatures flared simultaneously across Varkal space. Entire fleets of Terran steel emerged from the void, blotting out the suns. Titans of old war, each bearing names that had not been spoken in generations. Retribution-class dreadnoughts. The Dominion's defenses crumbled before they could form. The human assault was precise, merciless, inhumanly efficient. Orbital fortresses vaporized within seconds. Planetary shields melted like wax under sustained beam fire. For every ship the Varkal launched, 10 more Terran vessels appeared, emerging from microfold relays that no one had even known existed. Every colony that had cheered the destruction of Kepri 9 burned. Every admiral who had laughed saw their command towers turned to ash. Human soldiers, clad in exo-armor black as the abyss, descended on occupied worlds. They moved like shadows, silent and unyielding. Civilian infrastructure was left untouched, but the Dominion's war machine was dismantled piece by piece. Factories fell, fleets vanished, command networks were reduced to static, and above every conquered world, a single beacon was left to drift in orbit, broadcasting one phrase across all frequencies. We remember Kepri 9. The Wrath unleashed, the Varkal homeworld, Vral Tor, thought itself safe. Its atmosphere was thick with defense grids, its orbit lined with weapons platforms. It had never been invaded in its 1,000-year history, until the humans arrived. They did not bombard from orbit. They descended, hundreds of dropships falling through the skies like meteors. On the surface, the Varkal armies assembled, confident even then. They had the numbers, the terrain, the advantage. And then they heard it. The sound that would haunt their survivors forever. A deep, mechanical thunder. The synchronized march of human ground forces. Legions of the Iron Vanguard, armored in suits that gleamed like molten silver. Their weapons glowing with energy stolen from the heart of stars. The battle for Vral Tor lasted 27 hours. At the 28th, silence. When the orbital sensors came back online, they saw the impossible. The Varkal capital was gone, erased. Not bombed, erased. In its place stood a monument of black steel, driven into the planet's crust. On its surface, written in every known galactic language, "We warned you once. Never again. The collapse of the Dominion, the war should have lasted years. It lasted 14 days. The Terran retaliation was not conquest. It was extermination of arrogance. Every Varkal fleet was dismantled. Their leadership captured or executed. Their allies, those who had laughed at humanity's small colony, rushed to sever their ties, broadcasting messages of regret and surrender before Earth even looked their way. Entire star systems declared neutrality. Some offered reparations unasked. Humanity did not respond to any of them. They came for the guilty, and only the guilty. But their fury was a storm that reshaped the galactic balance. Trade routes shifted. Alliances collapsed. The old empires trembled as they realized what the Varkal had unleashed. Not human vengeance, but human resolve. For a century, the galaxy had thought humanity tamed, civilized, predictable. Now they remembered what the word Terran truly meant. The silence. After when it was over, Earth spoke once more. A transmission broadcast to every known network. The vengeance for Kepri 9 is complete. We will not conquer. We will not enslave, but we will never forget. To any who think to harm our worlds, our people, or our peace, remember this day. Remember what happens when Earth is silent. Then the signal ended, and for the first time in millennia, the galaxy fell truly silent. The few surviving Varkal who fled spoke of the horrors they saw. The burning skies, the unblinking Terran fleets, the precision of destruction. They whispered that humanity had not waged war for revenge. They had waged justice. The stories spread,